Hey Nuke Knights, we're moving on to the third set. This is a time warp for me because it's a full day after I did my last set. And I guess that doesn't matter anymore. Oh, Flash has out his roller. Guys, this roller out and must measure everything. Comes out like a Wolverine claw, just shink. Roller. Anyway, this is Jaedong versus Flash for the winner's match played on Gladiator. The winner of this will move out into the round of 16 to meet Stork and Fantasy and Calm and Modesty. And the round of 16, they're already seated. Kind of weird to put Modesty on that list. He hasn't done much with himself since his semifinal run. But here we go. I took quite a bit of Advil, so hopefully my Phantom Wisdom Teeth pain doesn't come back this time and force me to stop commentating, which is what happened last night. Except, down at the 5 o'clock position in green is Jaedong. That means up at the 10 o'clock position in white is Flash. Yes, Clash of the Titans. And this is cross positions on a 4-player map. I'm expecting a big freaking econ, gigantic drops, and huge battles. One can only hope. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is the winner's match that everyone wanted to see. They said, yes, I would like to see Flash versus Jaedong, please. They prayed to the Brood War gods, and their prayers were answered, yes. But of course, this means that one of these guys is going to lose. One of these guys is going to lose and have to go into the final match, which is going to put a lot of pressure on some fanboys out there, I have a feeling. Wait a second here. What the hell? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 pull from Jaedong? I think it's a 7 pull. I have to count those drones again, but either a 6 pull or a 7 pull. I'm pretty sure it was a 7. And an 8 racks from Flash. What the hell are these guys doing? Wow. So Jaedong is going for a 7 pull opening, which is a very aggressive opening. It's not quite as all in as a 5 pull, obviously, because it puts your economy in a better position, easier to recover. But of course, the downside of it is you can't get your Zerglings in there as early as you could with a 4 pull or a 5 pull. But yeah, this is ridiculous. Rush strategy from Jaedong right out of the gate, and muttering to himself there, God, I hope this works. But Flash went for his barracks first, so he will have Marines out to deal with this. Now, the reason he went for his barracks first is because he's going to look for the 12 hatch, which obviously isn't happening. Jaedong already going to have his Zerglings running out into the map, but he's going to have to find Flash first, figure out where Flash is. And, oh man, he's coming over here. He sees the SCV coming down, so he can probably assume that the SCV came from the 10 o'clock position. So I think that Jaedong is going to know where Flash is. This is going to be somewhat ridiculous. But Flash is already moving out with this Marine. He's looking for that 12 hatch. He's like, I'm going to bunker rush this 12 hatch. And now he's going to see these Zerglings. I think he might have seen the Zerglings. I'm not sure if that... Yeah, that SCV did spot this because the Marines are running back to the base. Oh man, so Flash is going up here, he's running back, going to try to get both of his Marines inside the base. This is a complete wall, so he's going to have to lift off his barracks to get the rest of his troops in. He got 2 Marines behind the wall. So he's going to try desperately to repair the supply depot. He's hovering around the middle supply depot, which is the most vulnerable spot in his wall right now. That's the easiest spot that Jaedong could surround with Zerglings and take it down. The barracks obviously has a lot of HP there, but Jaedong is going after... What the... Why are you showing someone in the audience? Jaedong going for the Marine that popped out of the... I think the Marines are coming out outside of the wall. Oh man, this could be bad for Flash. If his Marines are coming out outside of the wall, it means he'll have to lift off his barracks to get the thing back inside of the wall. And obviously, I don't think that Flash wants to lift off his barracks anytime soon, lest he have to deal with a Zergling run-by. So Jaedong is going to be able to probably pick off a couple more Marines if he can run in and find those Marines and snipe them. Since there are 2 Marines on the other side of the wall, but Flash is trying desperately, the Marines on the outside banging on the supply depots. Let us in, man! We're sitting ducks out here with the second barracks coming up inside of the main for Flash. And it seems that Jaedong is transitioning now. Yeah, Jaedong is transitioning. He hasn't pumped any more Zerglings, and now he's transitioning into a macro build, putting up his extractor already, and he had his 2 more hatcheries out. Zerglings coming in here trying to snipe Marines. They do snipe all the Marines that spawned on the outside of the barracks. Oh, this is bad for Flash. He's going to have to commit a lot of resources to protecting himself now, because I don't think that 2 Marines are going to be enough for the time being. I mean, obviously Jaedong has not pumped any more Zerglings yet, but he'll have the ability soon. This is so weird to see Flash this late in the game without a second base, but he hasn't built a second yet. He's building his academy, rather, to be a lot more aggressive. Since he knows that Jaedong went for, he's probably thinking to himself, well, he went for a 5 pull or a 7 pull or something, some kind of early rush build. Pretty sure it was a 7 pull. So he's thinking, well, he's going to be somewhat behind, probably trying to jumpstart his economy, so I should try an aggressive attack. So I think that's exactly what Flash has on his mind. I think he's going to move out with troops as soon as he has probably a medic or 2. And once he has the medics, he's going to push out and try to take down this second base from Jaedong. And Jaedong is going to be pretty vulnerable to this, since Flash has already built up a pretty substantial army. He's just waiting on the academy to come up, obviously, so he can get his medics out. And let's see. Oh, he is going to try to build his second base as he's moving out at the same time. There comes a fire bat. This is an aggressive attack from Flash. The barracks lands on the fire bat, but he doesn't care. Just moving out anyway. So I think the Flash is going to chase around those Zerglings, what little Zerglings that Jaedong has left inside of the map. Going to chase them all the way down to the natural expansion, and I hope to God that Jaedong builds some sunken colonies, because I don't see any other way he's going to be able to defend himself. Even if he builds nothing but Zerglings, he's got to deal with this freaking Firebat that's in the back. Oh, that was a hero Firebat right there. Firebat hero, if you will. But the second base coming up now for Flash as he's applying pressure at the same time. 2 sunken colonies at the front. And that should do it. That should be enough for Jaedong, since there's only, I think there was only 1 medic in the back. I saw 1 medic, 1 Firebat. That's it. So yeah, I don't think the Flash is going to be able to break. He can try to break, but he's going to have to deal with Jaedong's Zerglings and his 2 sunken colonies, and I don't think it will be successful if he does try. But knowing Flash, he might try some ridiculous stuff soon. So Jaedong has got to be vigilant, got to stay on his guard, and he is kind of hanging outside the natural expansion of Flash, trying to see if he is coming out with reinforcements to actually try to do this big attack at the front. But here comes the Spire from Jaedong. I have to say that man, Jaedong did a beautiful transition from a 7-pool opening into a pretty standard macro game. This is really weird, actually, because if you came into this game, if you're a viewer watching this game from this point and you hadn't seen the rest of it, you'd be like, huh, this is a pretty standard game. Because that's what it looks like now that Flash is building his second base and the Spire coming up for Jaedong. But let's see, the engineering bay for Flash, I have to say, adapted pretty quickly too. He is jump-starting his economy as well, but here come the mutas. 9 mutas on the way. There comes the 9th muta egg morphing, so Flash smartly running back to his base. He's going to need pretty much all of his units to defend his main and his natural minerals, because he's going to start building turrets soon, but those turrets might be a bit late since the engineering bay just popped up and the Mutalisks are on the way. But yeah, here come the turrets for Flash. He's building 1 turret right next to his he's building 1 next to his natural expansion, his barracks, and his main. Just 3 that I see so far. So Jaedong going out there, going to plop down his 3rd base. This is a very unusual game. But Jaedong coming up now with his 9 mutas. Let's see if he can get anything done. He is going for the main. Yes, he's going straight for the main, hovering outside of that main. And he's going to try to pick off some SCVs, see if he can get anything done. 1 turret up, but the 2nd turret not up yet. He's trying to take down this turret inside the main. Flash not able to repair that, so he's got to pull in here with all of his medic marines, or he's going to lose a lot of economy running away with his SCVs into the defense of his medic and marines. So Jaedong can't lose too much here. He can't afford to lose too much, but he's already getting a lot of damage done by making Flash pull his SCVs off the line like that. He's costing Flash some mining time, and that is going to be pretty huge in this game if he can keep it up. So Jaedong moving up with some Zerglings, I see, moving up to the front with Zerglings. Looks like Flash has prepared for a Zergling run by or some kind of ground attack at the front, because he has his bunker out there. Jaedong trying to sneak past. There are no turrets now to hurt him, but now Jaedong, he's taking out all of the Marines he can, but he's losing a lot of mutas in the process. Got to be a little bit more careful, but he did snipe quite a few SCVs. Oh, look at this. Flash prepared at the front. He knows Jaedong. He knows what Jaedong's going to do. He's like, yeah, run your Zerglings right past this bunker, Jaedong. But Jaedong droning up now, trying to get as many drones as he can. Probably transferring over right now. Yep, that base is up at the 3 o'clock position. He already has Hydras out, getting ready to morph into Lurkers. So, wow, this is, as I said, a very bizarre, unorthodox game. But it seems that Flash is prepared now for Muta harassment. He has built a lot of turrets. He has plenty of turrets at his natural... Oh, trapped the poor SCV. Trapped between the gas and the turret. Yep, hopefully a dropship will be spawned so that poor SCV can be toted over to the minerals. But it looks like the wall of turrets being too much for Jaedong. He pulls back, saying, well, I got quite a bit of economic damage done anyway, so I guess I can pull back, cut my losses, and deal with this pretty substantial grouping of troops from Flash that's moving into the middle of the map. And Flash goes for the third base, which he probably is. Oh man, some lurkers coming out. These lurkers might be in trouble here. Jaedong burrowing. And Flash trying to get to the high ground area, maybe surround those lurkers, but no, he's going for the natural expansion here. Stop lurker from Jaedong. He gets a few Marines in that stop lurker attack, but Flash is not afraid of lurkers. He is one of the most fearless Terran players when it comes to anti-lurker play. He does not care. He's like, yeah, I'm God. Yeah, try to kill me with your lurkers. I'm going to get the surround on you anyway. So Jaedong does have one lurker at the front, but the reinforcements for Flash coming in, so he might try to bust this natural expansion. I think he will try that soon because he has plenty of troops to do it. There's Jaedong going into the resupply line, cutting off Flash's resupply line. So Flash, he's going for the natural expansion, coming in here with the lurkers for Jaedong. Got to get in strategic position. Jaedong waiting on some lurkers. He has some morphing from the eggs, but Flash, there's one Sunka colony left. He's trying to get rid of it and get in here before the lurkers pop. But the lurkers already popped. 2 lurkers pop. There's a scan from Flash. I think he took down both of them. So he is sneaking into this natural expansion, takes out an overlord, and Jaedong rather is pulled back with his mutas and the rest of his troop to try to get a pincer attack on Flash at this natural expansion. Flash trying to hold, but the rest of the lurkers pop from the eggs, which means this troop is going to be cleaned up. That was a very clutch defense from Jaedong. That could have gone horribly, horribly bad, but I think he pulled most of his drones off of that second base to get them out of harm's way, and then cleaned it up with very few losses. So that was a pretty good defense from Jaedong. Not to mention his third base has already come up unharassed, and he is going for, I think, the counter. I think he's already working his way towards the natural expansion of Flash. Flash preparing for that, getting his second bunker up, saying, wow, he had a lot of troops, and I don't have many at all. I better put down a second bunker. I want to see the Defiler mound already for Jaedong. So he's going to have his Defilers out soon to try to contain Flash, basically keep him from getting his third base. And that's basically what you have to do with Flash. You have to keep him from getting a third base, because Flash with 3 or 4 bases is pretty much insane and unstoppable. But Flash is put down his science facility, which means that science vessels will be on the way soon to help deal with the pesky lurkers that are out. And I think that Flash is basically going to try to rely on his anti-lurker micro to do this thing from this point. There are still some Mutalisks out for Jaedong, but those probably aren't going to last too much longer once the science vessel comes into play, because 1 irradiate on 1 clump of mutas pretty much takes care of them in 3 seconds flat. Maybe a little bit longer than that, maybe 4 or 5 seconds. But Flash is moving out with tanks. He has tank support now to fight back the lurker troop on the ground. But Jaedong still has, look at this, huge amount of troops for he could easily do a pincer attack even without his Defiler and get rid of all of these troops from Flash. Flash trying to hold a high ground area. Yeah, Gladiator's a really weird map for the high ground advantage, because there's a lot of little slivers of high ground, and you have to be very careful about how you position yourself and try to take that high ground area, because Jaedong is backing off right now, trying to take the high ground for himself, because he doesn't want to fight up a ramp to take down Flash. He wants Flash to come to him on the lower side of the ramp. There's a siege mode with the science vessel at the front, which means that Jaedong's going to have to back up a little bit, go over to the next sliver of high ground. Oh, the Scourge take out the first science vessel. That's huge. Flash is going to have to rely on scan now if he wants to pressure Jaedong at all, which it looks like he is going to try to rely on scan. Pushing the lurkers back as far as he can, but I'm not sure how much scan he has left to be aggressive with his attack. He's probably just going to wait on his second science vessel to come out. But yeah, that was a very early science vessel loss. Jaedong was Johnny on the spot with the Scourge. Scourge coming out of nowhere. Here comes a pincer attack from Jaedong. He's trying to come in here. He already has a couple more Scourge, trying to find another science vessel. I'm not sure what he blew up there. That was probably either a tank or that could have been another science vessel. I'm not sure what blew up there. But the Defilers in for Jaedong, pushing Flash back to his natural expansion with Dark Swarm. A Dark Swarm everywhere, which means he's going to try to focus in on these tanks, take out the tanks. And it already has the Defiler consuming another couple of Zerglings to push Flash even further back into his natural expansion. Flash trying to sneak out of this, trying his best to weasel out of this contain, because this is definitely a contain from Jaedong. He loses a couple of lurkers with a mind drag there, so that's not good. That's going to make it a lot more difficult to do the contain. But so far, Flash does not have a third base. It's going to be very difficult for him to take a third base now that Jaedong is just outside of his front door with Dark Swarm. It's just going to be a nightmare for Flash. He managed to sneak out most of his ground army, most of his medic and marines into the middle, so that's something. He might be able to pressure a base soon from Jaedong, because Jaedong has already established his fourth base over one of the 3 o'clock positions. He already has established his fourth, which has a gas, so he's going to be able to support these Defilers for a long time if Flash has nothing to say about it. But another science vessel coming out. Jaedong trying to do everything he can to break down the defenses of the natural expansion, but I don't think he's completely paying attention to his lurkers, because just lost a bunch of lurkers there, and his Defiler. So some important units going down, being sniped by Flash. Now, a lot of Scourge just hanging around, looking for more science vessels to snipe. Let's see, Nidus Canals everywhere, so Jaedong will be able to defend all of his new bases, both of his new bases. I think there are Niduses going to each of them. But here comes Jaedong, just throwing a few Zerglings out front. Mostly just to try to keep Flash at bay, go for that resupply line a bit. But Flash, he's going to be able to bring his army together now and be a pretty substantial force, especially with tanks in the back. And he has a couple of science vessels now for the irradiates. So Flash should be okay for the time being. He's floating off his barracks, which means he might be switching into straight up mech. Yeah, just floating away with his barracks. So I think he's going to pump mostly vultures and tanks, if not switch into a mech army. This could be ridiculous. And I think that, yeah, Jaedong's going to be able to scout that. He's going to scout the barracks floating off, getting the scout out there, acting as giant overlord or something. But here comes Jaedong once again, going to the natural expansion. There's the Dark Swarm, couple of Dark Swarm from Jaedong, pushing out front with his Scourge as well, trying to find some more science vessels to snipe. But I think that most of Flash's troops are out in the field. I see them kind of hovering around near the 8 o'clock position there, but another mine drag. Jaedong's got to be really careful, but almost dragging a mine into the tanks. It's very rare that a Zergling can drag a mine into a tank. They usually can't survive long enough, but almost happened there. Oh boy, so Flash, even more pressure at his front door. And it seems that Flash, yeah, he's just floating those barracks off everywhere, trying to take his third base, I think. I think that Flash's third base is coming down at the inside mineral-only base. I see a little building down there that is not floating. Yes, that is his command center. But he can't even transfer over with his SCVs because of the lurkers out front. So, oh man, Flash's economy is going to be dwindling for an even longer period of time. He's okay right now, but oh man, dragging into the Defiler, another loss for Jaedong. But really, Jaedong can afford to lose that Defiler because he's already put down his 5th base. I believe that might even be up and running now for JD. Oh, jeez. So yeah, if Flash is trying to go for straight up mech, he's going to need his third base very soon to support that. I think he finally transferred over with his SCVs into the inside mineral only. Finally got that up and running, but he's going to need another gas soon. Desperately needs a third gas to get up and running. Oh, some nice mine drags, killing basically all of the Zerglings here. So switching into vultures like this, almost said vulturelisks. Wow. And so switching into vulturelisks like this was a great plan for Flash. This is typically what he goes for anyway, to be able to lay mines everywhere, lock down the ground army as it is. But he has some tanks over by his new base. And I'm not exactly sure what he's doing over at the 9 o'clock position. In fact, I think he might be establishing a base there. Yes, he is trying to. But it seems that he wasn't able to land that command center for whatever reason. Jaedong might actually have a unit burrowed there. Oh, Flash blocked himself in a bit with a supply depot, so he's trying to get rid of that right now. And I see a lot of Overlords grouped up for what might be a drop, actually, from Jaedong. He already got up his Ultralisk Cavern. He has Ultralisk out now, so this could be an Ultralisk drop or something ridiculous like that, but he's already moving up with a couple of Ultras to push through the front, just relying on just a move at this point, since he does have 5 bases. He can't support that. Look at all the Overlords just flying around for Jaedong. This could be a drop very, very soon for him, or at least to help out with spotting of the mines a bit in the middle. But Flash has a pretty good defense here at his inside mineral-only base, taking out all of the Ultras here, even though there was Dark Swarm. Oh, takes out another Defiler as well under the Dark Swarm, but the tanks have Splash, so that doesn't matter too much. Jaedong is coming back with all of his Overlords. So it might have been a fake drop, or hard to tell what Jaedong was going for there, but he could set up for a drop very soon because he has all those Overlords grouped together. All right, he's let Flash take the 4th base now. It's his 3rd gas, but his 4th base. And with the mineral only, that's going to help Flash a lot with Vulture production for a long period of time. Jaedong scouting with a single Scourge over that base. Is coming up now with his Overlords again, so he might have actually filled up those Overlords for a drop finally. Might finally be going for that drop with the Overlords, but oh man, we're going to have to find out here. Jaedong trying to break through Flash's excellent defense. I'm surprised that Flash was able to survive the attack of his natural expansion earlier. But it looks like Jaedong, he is going for the drop over at the 9 o'clock position. It looks like Flash might have scouted this. Probably been able to scout it with mine sight range or something like that. But here comes Jaedong dropping on top of this base. It looks like he doesn't have any anti-air units though, so he's not going to be able to attack the command center, but he is making a Flash lift off his command center as another command center floats on. Probably trying to take one of the 8 o'clock bases, but look at the Ultras everywhere. But the Ultras are boxed in by tanks, so they're all going to die. But Jaedong picks them up, rescues them. The Ultralisk Rescue Program. I definitely support that program. But the Ultra trying to take out a few more troops here. Taking out a tank. Unable to take out the 2nd tank. But a Mutalisk tech switch from Jaedong. Noticing, hey, Flash doesn't have any anti-air. Awesome. Just coming in with Mutas. Muta Ultra, one of my favorite builds. In fact, I don't think I've seen this build since it was used against Flash by GGPlay in 2008. But this is one of my favorite builds. A very effective build, Muta Ultra, very gas intensive. But if you have as many bases as Jaedong has, in fact, I think Jaedong is adding his 6th base now. If you have that many bases, you can pull this build off. But finally some Goliaths coming out for Flash. Looks like he anticipated this, had Goliaths ready to chase down the Mutas. So now Flash is basically committed to an all-mech army. He's going to have Goliaths out there to deal with the Mutas. And, oh man, I saw some more Hydralisks out for Jaedong as well. So he's going to be working with pretty much the entire Zerg tech tree now. Excellent. We need to get some queens into this game next to infest some command centers. But Flash is in trouble. He can't hold on to his 3rd gas. And with this type of build from Flash, he needs gas very, very desperately. So he's going to try to fight for that 9 o'clock position. And Jaedong should focus most of his attention and energy, his attenergy, if you will, over at the 9 o'clock, trying to take that down and keep it from mining. Because that is the only other base that Flash has with gas. And the gas is probably running out soon on his main and his natural expansion. Probably going to go down to the 2 minerals. Well, not minerals, but gas input for each SCV. But look at this, Mutas coming in, attacking the command center over at the 9 o'clock base. He is going to be able to take that out and keep that from coming up yet again. But oh, Flash is in huge trouble. He's trying to push in and repair this command center. He is repairing the command center, coming in with Goliath as well to defend the 9 o'clock, desperately trying to defend, but Jaedong going to drop it again, I believe. But hopefully Jaedong has enough to defend his other bases over here, because Flash is moving out, trying to take out one of the bases at the 2 o'clock position over at the 3 o'clock. But no, another drop from Jaedong. We got some Hydralisks in play now, so the Hydralisk will be able to do this. And I think the Plague was over the Goliaths. So Jaedong is using everything now. Oh, and he's going to try to snipe that command center, finally get rid of that command center over the 9 o'clock. Not sure if that's going to be successful or not. But Flash forced to back off a little bit because of the lurkers under the Dark Swarm, I think. Not sure where Jaedong got more lurkers. Probably had to morph some more over at the 3 o'clock position. But it looks like Flash has been too timid to attack this base yet. He sees the Dark Swarm. He knows he's going to be fighting uphill. So that's just kind of a nightmare for him over at the 3 o'clock. Not to mention he's desperately trying to protect this 9 o'clock base, working on both sides of the map now, attacking and defending respectively. But it looks like Flash, he needs to come up with another plan. He's not going to be able to do tackle Jaedong head on at his base over at the 3 o'clock. Damn, I'm watching from a mirror again, but oh, Flash dealing with, I'm not sure what's under that Dark Storm. There's something under the Dark Storm that he's having a lot of trouble with. The Zergling, I think a single Zergling's trying to take down the command center or something ridiculous like that. Comes Jaedong with another drop, dropping some Ultra. I think I saw an Ultra in that grouping, but no, some Hydras coming in now. A lot of Hydras. Hydra's probably going to be able to finally take out this command center now. Yep, Hydra's focusing in on the command center, and it goes down. So the 9 o'clock position might be a lost cause for Flash now, which means his game might be a lost cause, because look at this. He's floated off another command center, probably because of some harassment over there, maybe trying to float over and find some more gas. But Flash has no access to gas now, which is hurting him a lot. Another look at the Dark Swarm from Jaedong, just trying to make sure that Flash can't sneak by past the Dark Swarm and fend off his lurkers there. But yeah, this is not looking good for Flash. Looking very, very ungood for Flash in this game now. But Jaedong moving up with some more Overlords, which are probably full of troops, might drop on top of the siege tanks, do some Zergling bombs or something like that. Coming in now with the Dark Swarm everywhere for Jaedong. Look at all the Dark Swarm now, about 6 or 7 Dark Swarms. There's the GG from Flash. Loses his entire ground army, unable to protect the 9 o'clock, so that's it. JD on a pretty awesome versus Terran winning streak. He's been winning so many games against Terran recently. And, yep, guaranteeing himself a spot in the round of 16. Let's see if Flash can fight back in the final match. All right, let's move on.